Hello, Com 1700 students. Here are the instructions for your Chapter 6 activity worksheet. As always, please listen to this video in its entirety and take really good notes so that you don't miss any requirements of the assignment. Recall that in this chapter, we're talking about our perceptions of others and how we form those and how those perceptions can affect the way we communicate interpersonally, how much we're willing to self-disclose, or how well we're willing to listen to somebody else. So I'd like you to think about the ideas of prejudices and stereotyping, and in this exercise to think about those specifically in terms of mask wearing in this era of COVID-19. So we know that there is a mask mandate in many public places. On campus and in classrooms, we're supposed to wear masks where we're in confined spaces with other people. So imagine that there are people in this environment who are not wearing masks. We'll call them non-mask wearers. From there, I'd like you to think about some stereotypes, some generalizations that people in our culture often make about non-mask wearers. These do not necessarily have to be your own generalizations or your own stereotypes, but ones that you're aware of that you might have heard from other people. They might be your own, or you might have seen them on the news, something like that. And then for each of the stereotypes you identify, I'm going to ask you to think about how jumping to that conclusion is going to affect our ability to relate positively to those individuals. Okay, let's look at this step by step. So first, I'd like you to review the section of the chapter that talks about the four-step process of stereotyping. We identify someone in the environment. We zero in on that person. We sort them into a category of people. We recall generalizations about that category, and then we apply those generalizations to that person. And in the chapter, we read a little bit about how we can try to interrupt this process by being aware of what we're doing and realizing that we are applying generalizations to individuals who may or may not fit those generalizations. So for the first step in the process, I'd like you to think through that process with the topic of non-mask wearers. So assume the person that you have identified or zeroed in on in your environment is someone who's not wearing a mask in a setting where they are expected to. Now you're ready to start writing. Open up a Word document and list at least 2 generalizations that you know people in our culture make about people who are not wearing masks. So what are 2 stereotypes that we as a society have about people who are not wearing masks? Again, these do not necessarily have to be beliefs that you yourself hold, but ones that you are aware of. And then finally, for each of the generalizations that you identified in the last step, I'd like you to think about how having that mindset would affect your interpersonal communication with the person. So if you were going into the encounter with that person with that stereotype in mind, how might that help or hinder your ability to have a positive interpersonal communication process with this person? And you might put your answer in terms of self-disclosure, yours or theirs. You might think about listening and active listening. You might think about empathy and perspective taking. You might even bring standpoint into the picture. Think back on the things we've learned so far in the course and try to imagine how having that stereotype in your head as you interact with that person would affect your ability to have a positive communication outcome. So again, here is the overall set of instructions for the assignment. You're going to think about the category of non-mask wearers. Try to think of 2 cultural stereotypes or generalizations that we have about that population of people, and then think about how those generalizations would affect our ability to communicate positively. As per our usual process, please type these up into a Word document, upload it to the Dropbox to submit it. Do not send it to me as an email attachment. If you have any questions about the assignment, do email me those and we'll get you all sorted out, okay? Have a wonderful week and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.